Gervais was articulating many of the things that regular people think on a daily basis. But more than that, he was confirming it out loud in 4K. And every single time since a celebrity has given a political speech, this Gervais clip is almost always brought up in response. Because it's as true now as it was then. These people consistently pretend like they're the ones in the Hunger Games, but they're actually the people in the Capitol. I can't take credit for that joke because actually one of you guys left that in a comment in one of my videos, but I couldn't find the comment because I don't know which video it was. Thank you for that, and thank you for your contribution to this video. I also think this moment lives rent-free in the heads of so many celebrities, and Gervais going after them for years and years lives rent-free in their heads because they so clearly do not take being told to shut up and sit down and be quiet very well at all. And for some reason, that brings me a lot of joy.
What do you say to people like Ricky Gervais and Kevin O'Leary and say Hollywood shouldn't be speaking out?
I can say what I want. He's trying to save you from yourself. I don't understand what the problem is. This woman is probably someone's sleep paralysis demon. I am also very upset to admit that I'm at the point in age where I don't know who the hell this is. Who are you? Why are you famous? For what this said, Ricky Gervais has absolutely not stopped his assault on all of his clowns. Even recently, with relation to celebrities popping off about ICE, Gervais offered them the best advice that he possibly could in the situation, telling them to once again shut up. In this post, he shared a photo of his own quote from the Golden Globes and wrote, "They're still not listening. Yeah, Ricky, they're not, because they need to keep preaching to the rest of us from the top of Mount Bullshit." Actually, on this point in early 2025, Gervais tweeted as if he was once again hosting the Golden Globes, something he actually did for years and years before his blow-up at Hollywood in 2020. In these tweets, he took aim at a bunch of people in Hollywood, but the ones that I found notable was him calling out Hollywood's PDF filing ring, you know what I mean, and Diddy being a predator. He went after sexual abusers in Hollywood and basically them turning a blind eye to it again at the end of 2025 during his ceremony at the Hollywood Walk of Fame. My God, this guy's tiny.
Thank you so much for this honour. It's a genuine thrill to be part of such an exclusive club. And just looking around earlier at all the other stars, absolute icons, you know, Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, Fatty Arbuckle.
For those of you who don't know the context of this joke, all of these men were accused of sexual harassment or sexual assault, and I am pretty sure that Bill Cosby actually went to prison for this. You guys will have to correct me in the comments. And I know there are going to be some of you who say that Michael Jackson was unfairly targeted with these accusations. I don't know enough about that comment, but there you go, that's the context. Regardless, I interpret this as Ricky Gervais basically saying, "So good, Hollywood. I'm so glad that you revere people who sexually assault other people. Good stuff. Good job." Kind of puts his Harvey Weinstein jokes also into perspective.
Last one, come on guys. Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box, a movie where people survive by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it, I didn't, you did it, shut the fuck up.
What I find really interesting is that Gervais said during an interview that he doesn't call out celebrities for things they can't change, like their appearance say, but rather for things that they've done. Which I think drives home the point that his digs at them are about their behavior they can actually change, behavior that they know is wrong, but choose to perpetrate anyway.
You've done the Golden Globe before, and you can be quite edgy, and the celebrities, the celebrities out there are nervous. They're nervous about they're going to be sitting there, what will Ricky say about it?
I think so, no one wants to be the butt of a joke. But, I'm not trying to ruin their night, I'm making jokes, And also, I do it about things they've done, not about things they can't help. So I think I'm fair. I know. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No. You're not making fun of a way they look or how they look.
I wouldn't come out and go, "Oh look, it's a ginger Frankenstein."
What's interesting as well is that the eventual host of the 2025 Golden Globes, Nikki Glasser, actually referenced Gervais in her own monologue, joking about not going so hard at the audience that they'll be offended. But that's just it, isn't it? People love to act act like Ricky Gervais is going out of his way to be offensive and unkind and mock people for the sake of mocking them, to offend them for the sake of offending them. But in actuality, he's just pointing out who and what people are in a truthful way that is observable to the rest of us. And of course, he's doing it through the lens of comedy. Actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, this is why so many celebrities rail against and have moved into basically outlawing observational comedy, and why they are stuck in this no, you can't say the pointy words mental philosophy, because comedy really is one of the best ways of uncovering and articulating inconvenient truths. This is probably why Gervais has repeatedly condemned cancel culture and the mob mentality that governs modern comedy. Because without comedy, we have nothing.
Free speech is the most important human right there is. It's the right from which all other rights come. Without free speech, you can't have human rights. And people shut you up because they don't like what you're saying, and that's all suspicious.
I think it's worth understanding that Ricky Gervais doesn't attack things that people consider untouchable to watch them clutch their pearls or for shock value. He does it because, like any good comedian, he sees the ridiculousness in both pretending to be something you're not and taking things too seriously. The things we're not supposed to laugh at are things that Gervais wants to make jokes about.
If someone doesn't want you to say something for any reason, I think I've got to say that then. I don't have a go.
Yeah.
It's like do not press this button. You've got to press the button.
Yeah.
Always press the button.
Like I told all of you, this guy just doesn't care. Where other people are running away from the button, Ricky Gervais is like, give it to me, let me press it. I'm sure many of you too have seen those mock underground subway above the London Tube. The Tube posters that Ricky Gervais has posted as part of promotional material for his vodka brand. The one that popped up the most that I saw a ton online, it says, "Welcome to London, don't forget your stab vest," which probably hits a little bit too close to home for a ton of people in the UK right now. This obviously made people go insane. But why? Because it's truth couched with humor. Or recently, there was a big discussion happening online about Islam and dogs, which I'm not going to get into because it's honestly way too hard to explain. Hopefully the headline that I've put on the screen right now gives you some sort of indication. But the bottom line here was that people were offended that dogs would be kept outside to appease this religion rather than, having dogs live inside as we normally would. In response to this, Gervais weighed in, both tweeting a photo with his dog, or with a dog, and posting another mock underground poster that said, "If you don't like dogs, you can F off." It was actually him posting that first dog image that made me want to make this video, because in that moment when I first saw it, I just thought, this guy really does not care, and honestly, that is a vibe that I would love to emulate. He also has a tendency to say the things that many of us are thinking. But in the year of our Lord 2026, people really struggle still with the idea of being offended and hearing things you might not like and getting upset over pointy words. And how that doesn't change that people should still be able to say what they want to say. But as Ricky Gervais has been saying all this time, this is an absurd way to live. And simply because you're offended, that doesn't mean you're right.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right, It's offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? So you can't second guess people. If you try and please everyone, you please no one. People come up and they say, "I was offended by that joke." Yeah. My first reaction is, I don't care. Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't mean anything. You're telling me how you feel. What I want to say why. And I'll explain to them. I'm willing to explain to them why the joke isn't offensive. I'm not one who think I'm going to say what might be as offensive and then go fuck you as a joke. I'm willing to explain why it's not offensive. That often offence comes when people mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target, and they're not necessarily the same. Particularly if you deal in taboo subjects, which I do, because I want to go there, because I want to take the audience by the hand and take them through a scary forest.
Right.
I like the discomfort of expressing and talking about really uncomfortable things.
Pushing the envelope is why Ricky Gervais has given us so much money to strike of regular fair.
It depends on, natural skills and abilities, and then what you do with those things. Because there's lots of people, like my mother was super talented, really intelligent person, but she was so like emotionally chaotic. She never applied them to it. She never really got anywhere or did anything. She had big dreams of what she thought she could have and never really got there because she was so like emotionally unregulated and kind of chaotic. So I just kind of saw that there's not this like thing where you can just even the playing field and make it all equal for everyone. That's not how it works.
There's also a thing that if you're locked up in something like Marxism, if that's your ideology, you're in this constant struggle with the rest of the world all the time.
Yes.
You want to bend it to your ideology. You want to change it. So even if you're a very intelligent person, your daily mindset is struggle. Your daily mindset is conflict and existential crisis. Like, you know, people,
that was the picture that was laid in front of me.
Yeah, it's such
I go to Dad's house and he's like, he started a business after the divorce and he's like hustling. He's working 12 to 14-hour days. He's doing everything he can to make it work. He's not complaining. He's just like, this is what you gotta do. If you want to make it, if you want to, do your own thing, and prove that you're good at what you do, you have to compete. You have to get out there. You have to work hard. Why complain about it? And then my mom's whole world was, she ended up being very bitter and resentful because it was like this view of, I deserve this. That should have been me. I got robbed of it because whatever reason. And often it was like, I was more attractive, the men at work would have given me a raise if I looked like the other woman in office or something, so it was like this bitter, resentful, she was kind of like at war with the world.
Yeah.
So seeing those two things, neither of my parents are perfect, who has perfect parents, but it was kind of like, play over here where there's a purpose for me working hard and giving it my best shot and trying in life and figuring out what's important to me and then tailoring, all my efforts toward that. And I just thought that having a family was so cool. I wanted to have the family I didn't have. So I had this dream of like getting married, having kids, having an intact family, and making it like a place where kids can grow up without all the screaming and yelling and chaos that I have, and that a lot of kids have these days. So, I didn't go to college. I had a full ride scholarship and I didn't go, which everybody thought was the end of the world. It was like, how could you do that? Your life is over, you'll never be anything. And I was kind of like, we'll see.
See, it is very weird that we're convinced that the only way to get educated is by an official institution with all the information that's available now. I mean, even back then, like, that's the whole premise of Good Will Hunting. Like, you can get very smart from a public library. You really don't need... It's just, the books are available for everyone. The information's available for everyone to chase it down. It's not like the only people that get any information are the ones who go to these colleges.
It's one of the biggest lies that education, like, we can just educate everyone. The problem is we're not educated enough, and if everyone had enough access to education, everyone would be intelligent, everyone would be thriving. It's like, the internet's kind of proved this.
I had a teacher...
It's not an information problem, right?
I had a teacher in high school that said something. I don't know if this is his quote or he was quoting someone else, but he said, education is something that allows you to get along without intelligence, and intelligence is something that allows you to get along without education.
I like that. That's pretty good.
And I was like, I get it. There's certain people that are just dumb at certain things. Like, I remember being around intelligent people that had no knowledge of how a car worked, of any of the workings of the car. You would tell them, it was back like spark things. You'd explain to them, like, one of the cables from the spark plug got was only firing 5 cylinders. The whole 6 is not. That's why it's like shaking like that. Like, if it was anything else, if you're talking about the economy, if you're talking about the political process, that guy would think the other guy was a moron. But now this guy thinks he's smart. I remember like being like auto shop class going, there's a lot of different kinds of intelligence. We've just done this weird thing where we've categorized, like, you have to go to specific schools. You have to get a degree. Everybody wanted to go to Ivy League schools. I lived in Boston. Very important that you get a higher education. Go on to make everybody proud, and they were all miserable.
Well, my dad said that he was the only